Hello everyone, Mark here, Mark's Max Muscle, and this video has been requested by you guys many times, so I am pleased to bring it to you. Dexter Jackson, 2020 Arnold Classic. Dexter Jackson, 2020 Mr.Olympia. These are his last 2 times competing and bodybuilding. What a feeling he must have had. He placed second here at the Arnold Classic, defeating Big Ramy, among others. And at the Mr.Olympia, plummeted down to 9th place. Can you imagine that? So what happened? Did he drop the ball? Was the lineup just that much more hungry? Was Big Ramy that much more improved? Let's go through the poses, and I will give you my honest opinion. And considering this is Dexter the Blade Jackson at 50-some years of age, it's going to be difficult, really. The first thing that I noticed, though, is the midsection. Now, you could blame the distension of 2020 Mr.Olympia, or you could say that he had improved at the Arnold's Classics, in which case he did. I can't recall the exact event, whether it was the Tampa Pro. I'm not exactly sure, but he did win an event prior to the Arnold Classic, and he did have some stomach distension, and he definitely did fix that. And aside from that, I think his legs might be a little undersized. And the lats don't have the sting here at the Mr.Olympia that they did at the Arnold Classic. Now, here's the Saturday show. But at the Arnold Classic, now tell me if I'm wrong, was it all done on the same day? Now, this is the evening show, perhaps, not the next day. And the first thing I noticed here is the lats. Look at the lat difference. And, of course, the midsection definitely plays a trick in that as well. Bigger the midsection, smaller the lats are going to look. But really, I definitely would say his lats are smaller. And arms, of course, a little bit smaller as well. Let's go to the front lat spread. We do not have both events, or both showings, the Saturday and Friday for these ones. The lats, guys, are definitely a little undersized for sure. And the midsection, once again, and this is with all due respect, guys, but honestly, if he fixed that, I think he could come back one more time and win the Arnold Classic Brazil. Call it a day. Here in the side chest development, and this is Dexter the Blade Jackson at his best, in his best pose. Now, his last time on stage, he definitely pulled off a good pose. The legs look good. A little smaller, like I said, but I mean, it looks darn good. And this is, I think, personally his best pose. Here's the Saturday show for the Olympia, at least, or the evening show for the Arnold's Classics. His legs, definitely the quads, bigger, better. Hamstring, I mean, he looks good. He looks good here at the Mr.Olympia. But he definitely placed second for a reason. He defeated Big Ramy, guys. And he was nowhere near close to Big Ramy at the Olympia. So, even in the far pec, his pecs look bigger and thicker at the Arnold Classic. But the all-important back developments should tell us a tale and should give us a real glimpse on Dexter the Blade Jackson and his finishing up of his career. His back development stayed true right to the bitter end. His glutes, maybe not quite as striated, but those hamstrings, they look just as dry, I would say. In the back, the lats are reaching down a little bit farther. His lats are a little more impressive, I think, at the Arnold. But look at those traps, the Mr.Olympia. Fantastic. Here's the Saturday and the evening shows. Definitely looks smaller for the Mr.Olympia. You see that? His lower lat insertions, much more prominent. And look at the space in between his arms and his lats. You see that? He has a thicker set of lats. And his traps, even for the evening show, for the Arnold Classic here, they look a little bit more prominent as well. Rear double bicep. And it is, guys, it is a matter of size. It wasn't the conditioning. You see his lower back? You see his glutes and hamstrings? Dry. So at 50-some years age, what is he, 52? 51, 52? You can definitely see, you can't get mad at the guy. He came in more conditioned, just as conditioned as he ever was, but just lacked a little bit of that size, especially in the delts. You see that? Evening show. definitely is dry, guys. You can't get mad, like I said, you can't get mad at Dexter Jackson anyway. At 50-some years of age, stepping up on stage, world class like this. Come on. And I must say, he might look a little bit better in this pose, at least. Maybe not in the rear lat spread, but I think he looks a little bit better here for the Saturday show, for at least this pose, the rear double by. So Dexter the Blade Jackson, guys. The ultimate legend. The ultimate legend. Let us almost finish this one up. Second to last pose, the ab and thigh. And honestly, guys, the legs look better here for the Mr. Olympia. Maybe not as big, so I don't want to say they look better. I guess in a comparison, he could use that little extra size. But in a comparison against himself, those legs are no worse for wear. The cuts make up for the lost size, I believe. But when you're talking a little stomach distension, which he does have at the Mr. Olympia, you might use that extra size of the legs to make the midsection look a little smaller. And the lats, of course, the lats are bigger. For the Arnold Classic, here's the evening and the Saturday. Actually, he looks pretty good here in the midsection. His midsection itself, the waistline, is a little bit wider. I mean, that happens with age, for goodness sakes. And yes, he was old at the Arnold Classic, but he really focused in on that midsection. It was a problem prior, and he fixed it. And maybe he wasn't as worried about it for the Mr. Olympia, and he definitely probably lost some points due to that midsection. Look at the lats, much bigger at the Arnold's Classics. Let's finish this one off, guys. And to say let's finish this one off, I mean, that means so much. Dexter the Blade Jackson, he finished off his career. Now, did he finish with a bang? Considering his age, yes, of course he did. He came in good condition. I mean, he placed 9th. What is that, the lowest he's ever placed? I mean, it's definitely the lowest he has placed at the Olympia for years and years, probably since 1999. I should have did my homework on that one, but anyway, guys, he was always true to his form. He never blew up in size. He never tried to play the size game. He went through all the decades, all the generations. Whether it was the aesthetics that they were going for, whether it was the mass, Dexter didn't care. He was true to his word, he was true to his style, and he stayed conditioned, and he won events, and he beat a lot of people with probably superior genetics. I mean, as far as longevity is concerned, nobody is superior to Dexter the Blade Jackson. But anyway, guys, all due respect, he looks good in both versions here. This was an incredible career. And I am so fortunate, we are all fortunate to be around during this time. I mean, imagine being around in the 80s, which old Mark's Max Muscle was, but I didn't have much access to the Olympias, but imagine being back then with Albert Beckles doing basically the same thing. Anyway, guys, they are 1 in a million guys like that, and Dexter the Blade Jackson, one of the greatest, if not the greatest of all time. Hit thumbs up on the video, guys. Subscribe to my channel if you have not already. Follow me on Instagram. Have a fantastic day.